preseason, you got ways to go, but just these two games, the way the offense has functioned, the run game in particular, just how excited are you about what you've seen from the development?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, anytime you can run the ball like we have been, makes football a much easier game. So it's been great seeing that. I mean, the way the running backs are running behind those guys too. It's been really impressive. So yeah, hopefully something that we can continue to build on.
I know it was just a few plays for you guys, but how important was it to get at least a couple game reps in for the first team group there before you guys get going for real?
Yeah, I don't know. That was I think my second or third preseason game ever. So I'm biased against preseason games, but we did it. We got in and out of there, and we were able to score a touchdown. So I mean, whatever it was. I mean, if you're doing it right, if you're practicing the right way, if you're going about your business the right way, I'm not sure it makes a difference. But it was great to be out there and be able to go and do what we did.
You have taken part in joint practices with the Rams quite a bit. Just what do you like about that, or what do you get out of that compared to just your normal training camp?
Yeah, I think it's just an opportunity to see different techniques, different coverages. Obviously, the competitiveness is just different. It's just different. I don't want to say it's more or less than what you're doing each and every day. I mean, we come out here every day with a very competitive mindset with how we handle our business, and but it's just a different, different body across the line of scrimmage from you, and it's good to have those opportunities and just see some different things, try your stuff out against some different looks, and yeah, it'll be a good competitive day.
Do you prefer that as an evaluation to preseason games personally?
Yeah, I mean I do. I've only done things one way my entire career, so I'm not saying it's better or worse than how anyone else does it, but I do enjoy being able to take advantage of those joint practice days though, and seeing some different people.
We just saw Ernest, we see you. Is that weird? How cool is that to be teamed up with him again? And obviously going against your former team later this year, you don't play until week 11, but they're the defending champs in the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean I think the world of Ernest. Was incredible at Spoon. You guys can hear that. But Ern was incredible. His first few years when I was with him in LA as a young guy coming in, how quickly he picked it up and stepped into a leadership role, commanding that defense, and he's just grown. I mean, I thought he was a phenomenal leader by year 2 and 3 in the league, and he's continued to grow and ascend and call guys up to a great standard. And so it's really cool to be lining up here with him again.
You're kind of in that dog days of training camp, but you're also transitioning to prepping for the first game of the season. What changes for you? How do you approach practice now versus maybe a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it is kind of a challenge because I think you kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of getting ready to go and start preparing for an opponent. But we still have at least we have 2 weeks still of really good work, really good growth that can be done before you're into like a standard time frame where you start game planning and things like that. So I think right now it's really about just being focused on what is important right now, and that's about diving into our details, diving into our stuff, and making sure that we're doing the best that we can to master our systems and be able to go out there and execute at a high level. And that's where our focus needs to be, and knowing that it's going to present itself at the end of the day to be able to go out there and start scheming up against someone.
As your coaches have taught you guys this offense, are they teaching you like the why behind plays, or are they just telling you this is your job and do it on it?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely go into the why, the intent of what we're trying to attack. I don't know if there's any other way to do it. I mean, the guys that we have here, the questions that are asked, I mean, you gotta be able to answer the question of why. And we've got guys here that ask those questions, and so if you don't give us a why, eventually you're going to get asked why we're doing something a certain way. And so I think the intent behind everything that we do is a pivotal piece of how we operate. I think it's the core of what makes plays good. If you're out there just running lines on a piece of paper, you're not going to be very good. You got to be able to solve problems, and part of solving problems is understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
Is that not necessarily the case? I mean, I know this is on your second team, but is that not – does every offense not teach you that way?
I don't know. I'm not sure how other guys are doing things. you hear little things, with guys coming from other teams and go in and out. I've been around different places, and I will say it's not. I'll say I at least think it's maybe not as much of a focus in some places, but I think in the places that are playing at a high level, that are high-powered offenses, they have to live by that.
In terms of your preparation through the week, how much time do you spend with the quarterback?
A lot of time. Really, as much time as I can outside of my scheduled stuff that I have to be a part of. Try to be in as many of their meetings as I can, because it's just great to hear what the thinking is happening in that room. The little details that you might not think of, might not get through all the, you're installing so much stuff, little details that you might miss, but that are nice to be able to pick up on in terms of, hey, based on a coverage, it might be where a QB is progressing from, and we know he's going, where 1, 2, 3, 4, but if he gets this coverage, it might just be 1, 2, and he's, popping down, might be moving on, and give you the ability to, how can I be in the right spots for the quarterback when he needs me there. There's next level stuff that can come out of, hear how a quarterback's thinking, what he's being taught, and how his mind works, and how that can translate to just, like I said, being a problem solver when it comes down to it.
Is that a bigger emphasis?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. Yeah.
I was gonna say, with a guy you haven't played with like Sam versus maybe with Stafford you played with for years, like, do you need to lean more into that with a new quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's always something. I mean, I don't want to get start getting complacent thinking that you've arrived in any way. I think that's a dangerous thing to start thinking. So I take that same approach with Sam. 3 or 4 years into playing with someone, I take the same approach. Like, how can I just be on the same page with you, no matter what it is, no matter what we think. Even I think, where I can't remember the saying. Something about the worst thing about communication is thinking that it happened in the first place. Like thinking that you're on the same page, but not really having the communication. Like, hey, are we on the same page here? And going above and beyond to say I'm going to be at the right place at the right time, and it's a pretty special thing when you can make that come alive.
Did you do that at Easter?
What's that?
Did you do that at Easter?
As much as I could. It's tough because then you've got classes. I took golf, and that was really important. I had to get to that golf class, so I wasn't able to get in those QB meetings. But no, yeah, as much as I could be around the QBs, as much as the coaches allowed me to be around, I would try to be around.
With all the time you spent around Sam, what jumps out the most? We see the player on the field, but just getting to know him, being around him, what stands out the most?
Yeah, he's seen a lot of football. He's a lot of this stuff. A lot of stuff that we've done. He's seen in some capacity where he's run. He's been a part of it. He's kind of ahead of a lot of the guys because he's been a part of some of the things that we do in this system. And so it's been great just to be able to hear from him what are the things that he liked, what are the things that also, like, man, you might have been running this, but you didn't like how this worked, or you didn't like how this, play was, read out. It's like, man, we get to work through that now and make it ours. And the coach has been awesome about, being able to make this something that fits Sam and what he wants to do, and accentuates the skills and the talents and the ways that all these different players come together to make this team work, and makes it a lot of fun. Yeah.
People talk a lot about scheme with coordinators, but can you talk a little bit about play calling and sequencing and how important it is, and what you've noticed so far from Clint in terms of how he fits plays together?
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite things about watching offenses really across the league as the season goes on, right? Like, you have the first 4 weeks of the season, this is what we did in training camp, this is who we are. You put those 4 weeks together, it's like, well, now we got, now they've seen 4 weeks, now we got to kind of start building off of it. It's like you just keep stacking layers upon layers, and by the end of it, it's morphed into like, man, these are the things that are working for us, these are the things that we're doing well, and there's these, these counters and counters back that just, it makes it a lot of fun to see that kind of growth. And it is about the sequencing and how you're going to, like, what are the things that you're putting out there, what runs are working well, what play actions are you going to build off of that, and what screens are you going to build off of those. It just continues to stack and build. And I think we've seen a little bit, the way that we do things here, just being able to compete against each other, and in some ways it's like, man, Clint just wants to beat the crap out of Mike, and Mike wants to beat the crap out of Clint, and it makes it really fun.
Cooper, what are the defining characteristics of this offensive scheme in your mind? Like, what stand out to you about the way you guys are going to try to do things, all those sorts of things?
You snuck in here trying to steal our secrets. I saw you come in here from San Francisco, sent you up here. You know, I don't know. I don't want to get in. I'm gonna say more than I should, so I'm just gonna pass on that one.
What kind of you played against Spoon as an opponent and now in practice? What kind of competitor is he?
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I think you've heard the energy, and everyone's going to talk about the energy that he brings, the competitiveness. And I think just the communication, is love for the game. And that's what it is. He just loves being out there, loves playing football, and it's like, man, as good as one play might be, or as bad as a play might be, it's like, man, he's just up there the next play, as if nothing had happened the play before. It's just that same energy coming right back at you, and it's relentless in a way, and it can wear people down. And it's awesome. I've seen it from the other side, and happy to be able to go against it every single day in practice now.
When you played him, how did you guys approach him? Was he spent a lot of time in your game plan based on 21, or what were your view of him?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think offensive, I think you game plan a lot more around the front than you do around coverage guys, because you don't know. I think you can move those guys. You don't know exactly how they're going to do that. You do little things here or there in terms of motions and shifts and try to set people where you want to set them. But you knew that he was going to be a part of things regardless. And there's a few guys in this league that's like, man, it doesn't matter where you're running the ball to, he's going to find a way to be around it. And you just knew that when you came in, you were going to play the Seahawks, your energy had to match his, if not exceed it, because he was going to be bringing it every snap.
Want to read too much into a preseason game, but how encouraged are you guys by that opening drive? 10 plays, 81 yards, guys go down the field, and really running game was on point too.
Yeah, it was great. If you're going to go out there and be out there on the field, you want to be able to go down there and score. So it was great. I mean, I honestly, if I handle business on the first play of the game and get up onto a post safety, Sharps might break that thing for a touchdown right out of the gate, which would have been pretty cool. So, but it's like there's all these good things, all these positives you take out of that that drive, and then so many things that we're looking at critically and saying, man, if we can do this, if these are the things we can do so much better, that would, the sky's the limit if you can just handle your business, snap in, snap out. So, that's football.
Anything else?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.